Jonathan Hickan is geniusly setting up the downfall of Peter and Harry in Ultimate Spider-Man. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at issue 6 and reviewing it, and also taking a look at Peter and Harry's relationship and analysing the downfall that Hickan is clearly setting up. But before we get into that, if you are new around here, I want to urge you guys to hit that subscribe button, because we're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. Join the best Spider-Man community in the entire world, and also our journey to break through to Marvel editorial that we love Ultimate Spider-Man and we don't like Amazing Spider-Man. But with that being said, let's get straight into this. So this issue once again proves how Jonathan Hickan is killing it with Spider-Man, and how this is the best Spider-Man book going at this moment in time. Unlike the Amazing Spider-Man, this book is showing us why Peter and Harry are friends, but also hinting and foreshadowing their downfall. ASM would never do this kind of storytelling, and it shows. There is this one moment in particular at the start of the issue that I want to analyse for 1 second. There is this moment where Harry and Peter are finally about to enact their plan of taking down Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. However, the legalities surrounding the Kingpin's demise are slightly shaky. Peter recognises this, seeing how what they're about to do might be slightly off the books. However, when he brings this up to Harry, Harry simply replies with, "It's a necessary evil, Peter," which shows that Harry is willing to go that little bit further, and shows that Harry might be maybe slightly more overboard to get justice for what he believes in. This is actually then later explored further in a scene where Harry and Peter end up battling Wilson Fisk, which, by the way, first major fight scene that we've had in a while in these books, and it feels all the more sweet. If you guys aren't aware, basically for a few issues we haven't actually had any Spider-Man, we haven't had any heroes fighting each other or villains, and this is just amazing to see, and it feels like it's a massive payoff, and ASM could never do this, oh my god. Unknown to Peter, however, Harry had kidnapped Boomerang and interrogated him a few issues ago to get information out of him about Fisk's criminal empire. However, this information was never made clear to Peter, and when this comes out in conversation between Fisk and Harry, Peter can be seen to be surprised by this information. Although very subtle, there are hints throughout this series as we go on that there is a rift forming between Harry and Peter, and that they don't agree on everything. And I think this will be the defining factor in a few issues time, when obviously Harry and Peter will come to blows and will develop a conflict over something. Harry will make a certain decision, or he will do something out the realms of legality that Peter isn't comfortable with, which of course will cause the conflict between both of the characters. Harry will believe that he has to do what has to be done to get justice, and will believe Peter to be less justified in the situation. However, Peter will try to find an easier way out, try to resolve the conflict with little collateral as possible, which will misalign him with Harry. Not only is this presented through the scenes with them together, but this idea looms over the whole book in general, and actually having the second portion of this issue focus primarily on Peter and his family was actually a genius move by Hickan, and I'll tell you why. Although it might not be greatly obvious as to why he did this, at the end of the issue, Hickan primarily focuses on Peter, MJ, and the two kids, rather than the aftermath of what happened with Kingpin and the Green Goblin. And the reason he does this is because Hickan wants to show how much Peter has to lose. Now, why does this matter to the Green Goblin story, and why does it matter to the overall story in general? Well, let me tell you. At the end of the issue, Peter then finally reveals his secret identity, telling Richard and Mary Jane about him being a superhero. And instead of them being mad, they're actually proud of him. They support him, and it's not something that we're used to as Spider-Man fans, but people around Peter are accepting of him being Spider-Man. At first, this might seem quite weird. It might actually seem quite out of place for a Spider-Man story to do this, but the reason as to why Jonathan Hickan does this is actually really genius. You see, this was done purposefully to set up the audience for Peter's stance against Harry Osborn. In contrast to Peter, Harry has been shown to not really have much left after the death of his father Norman and his mother Emily. Yes, he has Gwen Stacy, but we get the sense that Gwen is more of a business partner more than anything else, as she's very corporate and they don't really seem to be that romantically involved that often. We also know that Harry doesn't want kids because of the world that they live in. They make it abundantly obvious that Harry has less to live for, so he is willing to take more risks to get what he wants. Whereas on the other hand, Hickan writes the second half of this issue showing us how much Peter has to lose in that contrast, which really sets up both of their ideologies really, really well. Harry and Peter are at two ends of one spectrum, both fighting for the same thing. However, the way that they go about it is completely different, and this will all boil over in a few issues' time. In fact, this actually might happen sooner rather than later. Let me tell you why. There's actually a theory going around at the moment. I can't exactly remember where I heard it, but it goes something like this. Essentially, every single issue at this moment in time is focusing on one primary month. For example, this month had June as its main month of story focus. And this can't be a coincidence because right the way through to December, you assume that this will continue as the trend. Well, what if this series is only 1 year long and it spans from January to December, rounding out in the 12th issue? If this turns out to be true, then Harry, aka the Green Goblin versus Spider-Man, might be coming sooner rather than later. Either way, I absolutely love this issue, another spectacular outing for Jonathan Hickman, and I can't wait to see what he does with issue 7. To catch my review for the next issue, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and like I said at the start of the video, make sure to join the community and our journey against Marvel Editorial to sort out the ASM books. We want them to get better. Here you can watch my video on who I think should replace Zeb Wells in the current ASM run. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.